Did you know there's a gun battle going on in the United States? It's not as dangerous as you think, but it can end up being someday. We were given the basic right to own a gun from our forefathers back in the colonial days, and in this speech I'm going to demonstrate some of the history of owning a gun here in America, as well as some positive points of owning your own gun and using your own gun, as well as some fair compromises I think that people who are for gun control could agree with us who are against gun control. I'll start off with some basic history that I found, basically coming from our Second Amendment rights to bear arms. Our ability to own guns came from back in the Revolutionary War, according to Zimmering and Hawkins, 1992, from the government loosely wanting to have the citizens be able to protect themselves, whereas they couldn't always be there when they needed to be. So they allowed people to own their own guns, so then if the time ever came from how wild the country was, either from Native Americans or just wild animals, they could protect themselves as well as provide for themselves with hunting and stuff like that. According to Yasky 2000, they also wanted people to own guns to form quick militias in their own little counties or towns, so as if the actual American military couldn't be there in time, they could hold their own or at least try to protect who they could. Now I'll share with you some positive points that comes with owning your own gun and using it. One great point is that you can have the ability to protect yourself and your loved ones. This is a huge reason why guns are so important for people. And not only that, making guns illegal won't solve any problems. Only people that won't have guns are people who are law-abiding citizens like you and myself. People who don't follow the laws that we all follow doesn't mean that they'll follow those. So then basically you're taking guns out of the hands of the good and putting guns in the hands of the bad. Another good point is the government should not take away the ability of the Americans to protect themselves. That's what the government's fundamental and first priority should be, is to protect us and not hinder us in our ability to protect ourselves. Some policies that I might recommend, or that through research have found might be good, that would be a good compromise, because compromise is key, would be registering your gun. There's no one that should not want to register their gun, because it doesn't matter who knows it. If you're a law-abiding citizen, it doesn't matter who knows, because you're not going to use it for anything that's wrong. Another thing that I think should be repealed is the latest Obama ammunition tax. And I found that from Fernando 2012. This is an awful idea, because not only does it hike the amount it costs to get ammunition, the one bad thing about that is if it costs more to get ammunition, then people are not going to be going to the shooting range to practice using their guns. That's the last thing we want as Americans, is people who are less familiar with their firearms. And then another thing that I found from an article from a guy named Strichter from 2000 is limiting the magazine size on the gun, which that's how much ammunition that gun can actually hold. They've found through statistics that the police officers, whenever they get into gun battles with people, the time where they can actually get the guy is when he's changing magazines. So limiting the size of magazines would make it, if that ever came into play where they had to be in a gunfight with somebody, that it would actually give them more opportunity to actually stop the gunfight. Alright, so what I've discussed in my speech is a little bit of the history of us as Americans owning guns. Some points that I think why it's a great idea to be able to own your own gun and have your own gun, as well as some compromises that I think everyone could get with, to where we could all still have our guns. Though this speech was a persuasive one, I hope that it was also educational for those who are listening, and maybe change the mind of people who are against people having guns. And for those who are already pro-gun people, that it educated them a little bit, as well as some who don't really have an opinion. Maybe it could have giving them a little bit more information to make the proper decision on whether to own a gun or not. My name's Cliff Dunlap, and thank you very much.